Welcome to First Unitarian. Please rise in body or spirit as we sing From You I Receive. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. That's some beautiful harmonies happening, and if you feel called to do that, let's go ahead and incorporate those in. Here we go. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. Last time. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live.
Good morning and welcome to First Unitarian Church of Rochester, where our mission is that through spiritual connection and community, we listen deeply to others and ourselves, we open to wonder and transformation, and we serve together with love and humility. If you are new or new-ish here, welcome, and please stop by our welcome desk so that we can get to know you a little bit better. And if you don't already know about the Inquirer series, that happens, it's a special program every Sunday during our connection time between the services. So if that's new to you, news to you, please come early at 10:30 next Sunday so you can join the Inquirer series, which rotates through different topics and gets you to know more about our church and our faith and our community. If you are here because you are going through a hard time or you're worried about somebody else who's going through a hard time, please reach out and connect with our pastoral care associates. We have Kathy in the back today. She's wearing a stole, sort of like mine, but has a rainbow and beige pattern on it. You can connect with her during or after the service. A few quick announcements. Tomorrow we're having a rally and a panel for Proposition 1, which if you don't know about this is the New York State Constitution Amendment to add the Equal Rights Amendment to our state constitution. So our reproductive justice ministry, one of our social justice ministries here at church, has been working hard on this effort, and tomorrow's rally will be gathering proponents and organizations that have been working on this in the Rochester and statewide area to get together and support Proposition 1. So please come to that. Our reproductive justice ministry is tabling in the lobby, so you can connect with them to learn more about it, and I believe we still need some volunteers to help set up and take down and make the thing possible. So that's happening tomorrow, and then in 2 weeks, we are going to have our annual Memory Tree service, which is an annual service of remembrance and honoring our ancestors and honoring the dead who have departed us in the last year or so. So if there is a beloved in your life that you would like their name read aloud in the spoken litany that is part of that worship service, please email me. You can find my email on our website or in the newsletter. We would be honored to include your beloved's name. But coming back to this morning and this moment with these people, I don't think I introduced myself. I'm Reverend AJ. I use he and him pronouns. I'm one of the ministers that serves this congregation, along with our preacher this morning, Reverend Sherry, our lead minister. Amanda, Director of Religious Education, is doing our Time for All Ages. We've got Pablo and the Ukulele Orchestra. We're very excited for their music. And the choir, First Unitarian Choir, and the AV team, of course, making everything tech-wise happen. And of course, every single one of you all come together and give of yourselves and your spirit to make church happen, to make this community possible every Sunday that we gather. So I invite you now to center yourself as we begin worship in whatever way works for you. Maybe that's a deep breath or recentering your body. We acknowledge with respect the Seneca Nation, keepers of the Western Door, and part of the Haudenosaunee people on whose ancestral and contemporary lands First Unitarian now stands. And I'm going to invite up Nicole Del Grosso, a member of our congregation, a member of our nominating committee, to light our chalice. For folks online, if you have a chalice or candle handy to light, please do so at this time as we say our unison words together. Life is a gift for which we are grateful. We gather in community to celebrate the glories and the mysteries of this great gift. And now to arrive and energize our body and our space a little bit, I'm going to invite you to rise and greet your neighbor and share a story of a time that generosity, whether it was your own generosity or the generosity of others, a time when generosity made something possible in your life. All right, I'm going to invite us back. I know it's very unfair to give you such a deep and meaningful prompt and not very much time to talk about it. But if you'll find your way back to your seats or sit down with your new friend that you've made, perhaps. We'll continue in song in just a moment.
All right, so either seated or rise in body or spirit, we're going to be singing "'Tis the Gift to Be Simple." So your choice. You can sit down, you can stand up, but let's join in song. Okay, 1, 2, 3. 'Tis a gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free, 'tis a gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend, we shan't be ashamed. To turn will be our delight, till by turning we come round right. 'Tis a gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free, 'tis a gift to come down where we are to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend, we shan't be ashamed. To turn will be our delight, till by turning we come round right.
All right. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Amanda Graff. I'm the Director of Religious Education here at First Unitarian Church. Today we've invited the children to sit with their parents, and now we're going to invite them to come forward, and then after they're going to come back to you briefly, and you'll see why. So if the children can just remember where your folks are, you're going to go back to them after the time for all ages, but for now, come on down to us. Sherry and I have a special message for you. All right. Come on down. We'll wait for everyone.
Just go ahead and hold on to these. I know not all of you are at the point where you're reading yet, so it does say, please do not open.
Don't open it yet. Don't open it yet. All right?
Okay.
Our story is about these envelopes, and it's a surprise, so don't open it.
Here we are.
You're welcome.
There you are. Are there any children who didn't come forward but are in this room who I can bring one to?
Just
okay,
hold
it's not
on.
nice to point to the adult that you're with as a child. I get the temptation, and you got one? All right, cool. Great. Well, so sometimes when you're all here, I mean, almost always, Amanda or Sue or someone great tells a story. But sometimes when you're down here before you go upstairs, we do other stuff. Like a couple weeks ago, do any of you remember when we lit candles together?
When we walk.
I know you do, because I saw you trying to light like so many candles. I get it. I also do that. Have any of you ever been here when we pass around baskets and sometimes people will put some money in? Some of you have seen that? You all have seen that, right? Yeah, so that's called an offering, and it's a collection we do each week, but sometimes you're all here for it, sometimes you're not. Today we're doing something sort of like that. Is it the same, though?
It's not. It's a little bit different.
Is it the opposite?
It is the opposite.
Like the exact...
Totally
different thing.
Total opposite. And do you think now is the moment?
I think now's
All
the
right.
moment.
So now I'm going to invite you to open your envelope. And what are you finding in there? Does anybody want to stand up and kind of show, just so the grown-ups know what you're seeing in your envelope?
Oh, you all want to participate now?
Okay, so. All right, so you can have a seat again. And in our envelopes, there's some cash. And I want you to go ahead and keep a hold of that, because this is what you're going to give back to your folks before you go up. Now, this is your $5, but it comes with a special assignment. So like Sherry was saying, when we come to church, during the worship service, there's an offering. And because so many people here, and for tens and 20s and 30s and actually hundreds of years at this point,
94?
94, people from the
years.
church have put money into that basket each week. And what does that make possible? What does it make possible when people put that money into the basket?
A day.
It helps, people get more money so they can buy the stuff they need.
So maybe it helps people in our congregation or outside of our congregation who maybe don't have the things they need. Maybe some of the money that we all pool together can go to help people who have something that they need.
Well, and I heard Ade say
Yeah.
that the money that people give helps make more money, which is sort of like one of your parents works for a bank.
Interesting. Yes.
Yes.
It can save lives. That's true. The generosity that we bring to church and sometimes show with the money that we put into the offering basket certainly goes to different organizations and to our own community in ways that can save lives. Now, I want to take more questions, but I actually have another question for you, or another idea and then a question. So,
My idea?
well, would you like to share it?
Oh, no. You
Oh,
go ahead.
I should show. Okay. So the idea here, now it's nice to have $5, and while you might want to spend it on candy or toys or that sort of thing, and I sure hope you get to do that sometimes, we have a special assignment with this $5. This reverse offering, where you're getting to take money from the church, is to go out into the world to do something that makes the world better. So with your $5 that the church is giving you, and actually your family, your parents are also going to take some money away from the church. Wait.
No, I'm just kidding. It's true. You'll all,
you didn't
you
hear
all
it.
were people who were formerly children.
You heard nothing. You heard nothing. You will think about how you might use this money to do something good out in the world. And it could be something like, I don't know, maybe you notice that your neighbor has a dog, and that dog just seems like it could really use some treats. Maybe,
Ooh.
That could be one thing. Or maybe you have a friend who they just have like a favorite book to read, and maybe you want to get them the next book in the series. And I wonder if there's anything else that you can think of that with your money you might do to help make the world better. Is there anybody in my experience, kids have great ideas about this. So I'm curious if anybody has any thoughts. It's not a lot of money, but what could your $5 do to maybe help someone else? Yeah. Let's take both of you. Do you want to go first and then, yeah. Buy a seed and plant it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Miles. Sure, you could buy tools and then pick up trash with them, like one of those cool trash pickers. You could probably buy one of those and help clean up your neighborhood. Mary Ann. Give it to your school. Yes, so your school certainly could, most public schools, I would say, or maybe all schools, probably all schools, don't quite have the money that they need to do all the things they'd like to do for children. So that could be one thing you could do, yeah. Now your school's doing a fundraiser. That happens at schools. I'm familiar with that. Yes. So you could donate it to, like Marianne was saying, to a larger organization where your $5 could get together with a whole bunch of other people's donations to make a big difference about something that you really care about. So before I pass it back to Sherry, I'd love to hear just what are a couple things you really care about? What do you really care about? Change to see in the world that you really care about. Yeah. Not having stray cats just stray out without any help. So who can help animals like cats? Yeah. Your friends, helping your friends. Anything else that you really care about? Maybe one or two more things. Yeah, Ade. Plants. So our earth couldn't exist without plants and trees and, yeah.
And also the ocean.
And the ocean. So, yes, absolutely. Yeah. Giving your friend something that they need. So,
the assignment is, you've already got a lot of really great ideas.
a lot.
So many. You're going to have to pick one, though, right? But to take this money and plant something good in the world. So I'm so grateful that you're all willing to take this on. I think we're going to have you leave the money with your parents while
Yep.
you go upstairs.
That's right. So now, before we sing kids out to their classes, I'd love you all to fold up your envelopes with your money inside. This is going to be your $5 to decide what you want to do with to make a difference. But I'm going to have you leave it with your parent for now. And so everybody go ahead back to your seats where your parents are, and you'll leave this with your parents just so we don't lose track of it during classes. And now we'll sing our children off to their adventures.
Sounds good.
We bless you on your journey through, from sheltering arms to the wide sky blue, in your joyful jumps, in your sad times too. You bless us by being you.
Well, so the cat's out of the bag, the stray cat or whatnot. So all of you are going to get an envelope. And I'm so grateful to Ray and to Nicole for passing these out. As I mentioned to the children, it will say, please wait to open. And as I discovered in the first service, some of you just won't. I get that. You're curious. You want to know. So thank you both. Go ahead, since they're going to wait, they're not going to wait. I can't control people. So we find ourselves now 7 weeks into the season of generosity. We have, from September to October, been exploring this theme. And, in November, we'll turn to transformation, which means that we're almost done with being generous for the rest of our lives. I don't think that's true at all. But I do think there is some validity to the concern raised a little while ago by the folks charged with fundraising for this congregation that, we're exploring generosity in our small groups, in our religious education, in our music, right here in Sunday mornings. And we've talked about hospitality. We've talked about the generosity of sharing Unitarian Universalism. We've talked about the generosity of sharing our own theological beliefs under our big umbrella. We've talked about the generosity of presence. What about money? Isn't that part of generosity? And yeah, of course it is. Of course, in truth, money and giving is part of what it means to explore and think about generosity. But it's hard to do. There's a lot of awkwardness that we attach to it. Most of us have some experience of money in which there wasn't enough, or we were confused about what to do with what we had. Are you holding up your envelope because you got an empty one? Too many. Double envelope. We got an honest dealer right here. I already see some differences between the late service and the morning service. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, there's stigma attached to talking about money. Lots of us were taught that it's rude to talk about money. And yet, talking about money, telling the truth about money, is something that, quite frankly, people with a lot of money have more access to. The truth about money is that when we don't talk about it, it keeps money in the pockets of people who have a lot and gives and distributes less money to those who lack not only money, but also the freedom and access to information. So it's important that we do wrestle with it sometimes. It can seem, if I'm being really honest, almost like I worry that you all will think it's dirty to talk about it in a sacred space. Like it's so ordinary. Those bills, they touch all sorts of hands. And here we're dealing with the sacred. But all of this is possible because of the generosity of generations before us. I, of course, don't just mean the building, though, yes, the building, but also the idea that people of liberal religion, that is to say, theological ideas that are founded in a search for freedom that says that none of us have a monopoly on the truth, the idea that we have a space to gather, an appointed time and hour, well, that happened because people before us said we were willing to invest in that. We think there's a seed here worth watering. So here, in religious community, I want to start with just a few questions that I've taken from Craig Groeschel about the spiritual gifts of money and how they land in us. Each of us has different spiritual gifts. And so just sort of limber up a bit, because I'd like you to tell the truth and raise your hand if you're able. How many of you are good at the spiritual gift of spending? All right. Pretty good. That's a fair number of you. You're like the Caitlin Clark raining three-pointers of spending. She's a great basketball star for those who don't know, and it just like happens again and again and again and again, and you can't stop her. Maybe that's how you are. When you see something you want or something you desire, you go out and you buy it. How many of you are, it's not so much spending, but spending, well, it's saving money. How many of you are great at bargain hunting? Okay, a few of you, right? Like something's 50% off, and so like, a $200 item that's 50% off is like you've saved $100, right? That's what bargain hunting is. All right, fair amount of you. How many of you are great at saving? Okay, a fair amount of you also. Saving might look like all sorts of things for you. Maybe you're investing or keeping it in the bank, or it turns out people really do this. I discovered a couple of years ago at my grandmother's house, shoving bills into your mattress. Which is, I don't think I reacted well when it happened, I'll let you know. I tried to explain to my grandmother compound interest, and my grandmother was like, I left Hong Kong in the context of like war and violence and economic scarcity to bring your father and now you to this country 58 years ago, so like maybe don't lecture me, which I appreciate. That was a point well taken. So these are all different spiritual gifts involved in money. How many of you are great at giving? Like you feel like you give to the right places at the right amount? A fair number of you also. I see like a lot of hands up, and that's awesome. I also see a fair number of hands that are sort of like, like it could be arthritis or it could be uncertainty. We're not really sure. We're not all really sure. Giving, well, in some ways, it's an easy, natural thing to do, something like sharing that we know instinctively how to do, but how and when and how much and with whom, these are all complicated questions. And most of us find that the answers are not always obvious. Now, as much as I said, well, we don't talk about money maybe as much as we should here, the truth is giving is a spiritual practice that we engage in here at First Unitarian in some really big ways. Each and every week we take up a collection, an offering, right? The reverse of what we just did, where we say, if everybody gives some money, we can make an impact in the world. And we do that each and every week, even though we know that that's a really small portion of how we support the congregation. The way the congregation fundraises and supports itself is really through the ongoing gifts of folks like you, folks who are me. But we do this anyway every week because we think it's important to practice generosity. Now, of course, we do that in our stewardship efforts, our pledges to the congregation. But we also do it in this way that's, well, it's not unique in the sense that we're the only congregation that's ever done this in the history of the world, but we do have a really special tradition here at this congregation that's, I think, pretty different. It isn't something I've ever encountered before I arrived here, where in December we celebrate the Greater Good Project. And that's a project that asks us to take half of our holiday spending and give it to two causes voted on by our children when we all vote, or those of us who are registered citizens, or are citizens and registered to vote, when we vote in elections, we have our children vote on causes. And so we take our holiday spending, and it's never meant to take a meal off your table. It's never meant to take the single gift that you're giving your child out of their hands, but it is meant to ask you to think about what actually makes you happy during the holidays and to spend less, to live more simply. This Greater Good Project, over the course of over a decade, has raised hundreds of thousands of dollars. And when families are able to give half of what they maybe otherwise would have spent, it makes a huge impact. So we do take the spiritual practice of giving, both individually and collectively, pretty seriously here. And I think we should be really proud of that. It's complicated by the reality that compared to other congregations in Rochester, we make more money. And we give less money to the congregation. There is a disconnect, perhaps, when you don't think you're going to hell if you don't give to the church. And as much as I'd like to say, we could do more good if we had more money, I'm not going to tell you something I don't believe. I don't believe in hell, and I don't think any of us are going there. And still, we find that the spiritual practice of giving is something that, although we do it in these big ways, it can be difficult to remember, difficult to incorporate into our daily lives. A little while back, Reverend AJ officiated a memorial service for John Steepy, a longtime member of this congregation who lived generously and loved fiercely. And I remember him saying to me before he died that, well, a few years prior, he had taken up a new practice. For most of his life, whenever he saw someone asking for money at an intersection or on a sidewalk, he'd avert his eyes and not make eye contact. Or he'd try to roll up his window well in advance, not at the red light, but just so that he could basically ignore the fact that someone was asking him to connect, asking him to help meet each other's needs. And he told me that for the past few years, he had been carrying a little collection of bills, not a lot of money, a little bit every month, that he'd put in his center console so that he might sometimes connect with people. And when he ran out of money for that month, he'd just say hello and ask them how they were doing and wish them luck. And he told me that he did this because one time I stood here and I asked him to do that. I don't know that I ever did that. I have zero recollection of actually saying those words or talking about anything related to this. Perhaps that is the magic and power of church, but it's a testament also to the forgetfulness and the challenge of what it means to live our spiritual values in the world. The hubbub and hecticness and immensity of need in the world conspires against us. It makes us forgetful. It makes it easier just to not pay attention or to try really hard to avert our eyes. So, I give you an assignment. In that envelope, I'm going to ask you now to open it up. And you will see, if you're a little bit slower about it than our children, that not just is there a bill taped inside, but also some words, some instructions. It comes with a hope, it comes with a request, and it comes with a rule. So, the rule is, this was all money you weren't expecting to get this morning. It's not money you're counting on, probably. Give it away. Use it for someone else. And I don't say for someone else whose needs are greater than your own, because I think, quite frankly, we're pretty bad at knowing what other people's needs are. We're, quite frankly, pretty bad also at always knowing what our own needs are. But use it to connect with someone else. It doesn't have to be one-on-one. We had a group brainstorming ideas during Connection right before this service. And so some of the ideas were to pool your money with other donations and give to an organization, ideally where it can make a tangible impact. Maybe it's one-on-one giving. Maybe it's, oh, I guess I didn't cut out. Maybe it's buying a neighbor a coffee or someone that you had an argument with some time ago and would like to reconnect with. Maybe it's noticing that someone in your life has been saying again and again that this thing of theirs is missing or broken, and, well, you remember you've got this bill burning in your pocket, ready to be put into use. This is not money for you to hoard or save or stuff in your mattress, though, as my grandmother pointed out, there may be plenty of reason you would do that, and I don't mean to chide you for it. But to let flow into your life and flow out. Now, generous people who understand themselves as generous, and what that means has no objective measure. There's no dollar amount or frequency amount that names this person as not generous and this person as generous. But people for whom generosity feels present in their life are happier. They enjoy their lives more. They understand their lives to be imbued with a sense of purpose. And so I, really the church, has given you a bunch of money so that I, selfishly, can feel really good. Thank you. The gift extends, though, I hope, to all of you. I hope that this bill taped into this envelope is something that you use to form connections that you were not expecting in your life. And if you're already sitting here at this point thinking, I did not want homework from church today, the offering's coming later. You can just throw it back in there. That's fine. But the rule is to give it away, to use it for someone other than yourself. The request is that you tell us about it. There's an email address on there, or you can call the office and leave a voicemail, or me, or stop me in the hallway. Next month, after we're done talking about generosity for forever, we'll move on to transformation. And I want to know how you took this set of bills taped into a simple piece of paper and used it to connect with other people. I want to know what seeds you planted as we build towards the world that we would like to live in. And my hope is that you know that those bills didn't come out of my account, but in fact, this is an investment in the broader community from this congregation. That each of us comes here today, whether online or with a butt in a seat, because generations before us, literally tens of thousands of people before us, knew that they could give something, their money, their presence, their talents and time, to help build a place where the blessing we receive is not something any of us have earned. To use the old-fashioned religious word, we're talking about grace, an unexpected thing for which we can be grateful, but that ultimately we did nothing to deserve. As you take this bill and circulate it out into the world, may you know yourself as an agent of generosity and grace. May you know yourself connected to the tens and thousands of people who built this community. Amen.
Everything is possible, this I know, this I know, this I know. Everything is possible, this I know. I'm bountiful and free, bountiful and free, where I'm supposed to be. Everything is possible, this I know. I'm bountiful and free. So we're going to take a couple of minutes and learn that little chorus together. So the choir will help us. So I'm going to sing a little bit of it, have you sing it back. We'll put it together, and then they're going to sing a few extra parts and see what we come up with. So listening first, and then we'll repeat. So we've got everything is possible, this I know. This I know, this I know, everything is possible, this I know. I'm bountiful and free, here we go. Everything is possible, this I know, this I know, this I know. Everything is possible, this I know. I'm bountiful and free. Second part, bountiful and free, where I'm supposed to be. Everything is possible, this I know. I'm bountiful and free. Bountiful, bountiful and free, where I'm supposed to be. Everything is possible, this I know. I'm bountiful and free. Now let's try and put it all together. And everything is possible, this I know, this I know, this I know. Everything is possible, this I know. I'm bountiful and free, bountiful and free, where I'm supposed to be. Everything is possible, this I know. I'm bountiful and free. So now, before we as a congregation sing that again, I'm going to have the choir show us a little bit of what they're doing, and then we'll jump in. So you'll sing with me. They've got their thing, and let's see what we come up with. Okay. If you guys, just at the edge of your chairs right there. Yeah. All right. So this is choir. Basses, tenor twos, altos, and sopranos. 1 and 2, and here we go. Everything is possible, this I know, this I know, this I know. Everything is possible, this I know. I'm bountiful and free, bountiful and free, where I'm supposed to be. Everything is possible, this I know. I'm bountiful and free. Again. Everything is possible, this I know, this I know, this I know. Everything is possible, this I know. I'm bountiful and free, bountiful and free, where I'm supposed to be. Everything is possible, this I know. I'm bountiful and free. Last time. Everything is possible, this I know, this I know, this I know. Everything is possible, this I know. I'm bountiful and free, bountiful and free, where I'm supposed to be. Everything is possible, this I know. I'm bountiful and free. Thank you.
Everything that is possible in our church community, everything that we do outside of our walls, is made possible by the time, talent, and treasure that our community gives generously to its shared mission. Members and friends, as Reverend Sherry said, support this congregation financially through recurring giving. And then on Sundays, we also practice generosity through our shared collection. This morning, 50 cents of every dollar given now will go to the National Susan B. Anthony Museum and House, because every week we share the bounty we are blessed to receive with a local organization or effort. So the Susan B. Anthony House interprets the great reformer's vision and story, preserves and shares her National Historic Landmark home and headquarters, collects and exhibits artifacts related to her life and work, and offers tours and interpretive programs to inspire and challenge individuals to make a positive difference. Remember to join us next week after both services, or rather either service, where we will be caravanning over to the Susan B. Anthony House for early voting. It is an early voting site, and anyone registered to vote in Monroe County can join us and vote early on that day, or of course any day between the 27th and Election Day on November 5th. You can give on our website at rochesterunitarian.org/donate, by Venmo, or here in the baskets that are being passed around. In the spirit of abundance and generosity, our offering will now be given and humbly received. soothed by that beautiful gift of music from our ukulele orchestra, I invite us now into a time of meditation, reflection, and prayer, beginning with some moments of shared silence. Into this space made sacred by our attention and our intention, I offer this prayer from the Reverend D.L. Helfer. Great mystery which grounds us and surrounds us, Spirit of all that moves among us and through us, as elections near, help us to let love lead. Help us recognize that polarization can also be understood as passion, passion to build something better that holds all of us at the center. Help us to imagine and to foster a world in which we listen more than we talk, where our priority is to learn as much as teach. A world in which we find ways to connect across the chasms of difference, making space for revelation to emerge. Spirit of love, help us turn towards love with the world, with each other, with ourselves, all the same thing at its core. Let us extend grace within our movements and between our movements, less sure, more curious, wondering together what is possible. Spirit of all that is open and hopeful, guide us in building a larger tent, not solely Republican or Democrat, independent or uncommitted. Let us learn too from our ancestors, from generational pain and generational survival, the moments of generations building across difference, something better, larger, more encompassing that can hold us all. Let us be not just flags, potent though they are in declaring our beliefs and yet impeding our ability to recognize humanity across differences. Spirit of hope, Spirit of all that is yet possible, lead us away from the false separation that the only truth is ours, that anything less is incomplete. Lead us instead into the discomfort of learning from youth, young adults, activists, elders, those we cherish, those we find wanting. Lead us to the love that holds us all and is with us always, the love that can help us through the messy but necessary, life-altering work of building movements across beliefs, across difference, for change that can endure. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen. We enter now into ritual to bring what is on our hearts and lay it on the altar of community and spirit. I invite you to honor the complexities of life and whatever is on your heart this morning, and bring to mind whatever grief or growth or gratitude may be alive within you. Online, you are invited to share what that is in the chat, and in the sanctuary, you're invited forward to one of the altars to light a candle. If you'd like an usher to bring a candle to you to light it, please simply raise your hand. May we now share in this ritual of community care and of witness to one another's hearts. All that we hold in our hearts for ourselves, for each other, and for the world is held in this community and by the larger love that is with us and will be with us always. Amen. Blessed be. And Ashe.
Musical meditation has text that's in Latin. The text is ubi caritas et amor ubi caritas Deus ibi est. Let's try and sing this together. Ubi caritas et amor ubi caritas Deus ibi est. Ubi caritas et amor in body or spirit. As we sing, we laugh, we cry. We laugh, we cry, we live, we die. We dance, we sing our song. We need to feel there's something here to which we can belong. We need to feel the freedom just to have some time alone. But most of all, we need close friends we can call our very own. And we believe in life and in the strength of love. And we have found a need to be together. We have hearts to give. We have our thoughts to receive. And we believe that sharing is an answer. Verse 4. We seek elusive answers to the questions of the life. We seek to put an end to all the ways of human strife. We search for truth, equality, and blessed peace of mind. And then we come together here to make sense of what we find. And we believe in life and in the strength of love. And we have found our joy being together. And in our search for peace, may we finally see, even to question truly is an answer.
Time together comes to a close. One gift you can offer our community that does not require even $5 is to help stack the chairs after the service, stacking only the chairs that have arms. Thank you for anyone able to do that. Please join me now in the words to extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
You would be forgiven for thinking that wrapped up in those papers is the unearned blessing. But the grace of this place, the grace of our gathering, is wrapped up inside each of you. May you go out into the world as agents of grace. May you go out as agents of generosity and of peace. I love you. Amen.